Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to day 2 of our soil investigation. As you can see here on my screen, I have each of the 4 soils still in the paper plates. They are labeled. Here's the first soil, the second soil, the third soil, and the fourth soil. So we still don't know exactly where these kinds of soil came from, but we are going to find that out later on in our investigation. Before we move on any further, I wanted to go over the different kinds of materials that you might have seen or observed in each of these different soils. Okay, so what kind of different materials did you find or notice in each of the soils? So as you can see in all 1, 2, 3, and 4, they aren't all the same. They each are containing different kinds of material. So you will notice that in each of the soils that there was different kinds of rock in each of the soil. Now, they might not all have the same rock. Some of them might have similar rock, but there are different kinds of rock in each of the 4 kinds of soil. So I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to name the different kinds of rocks that are in each of the soil. So any kind of soil that you might find in our environment has different kinds of rocks. Now, there are 4 different kinds of rocks that you might find. The first are pebbles. Pebbles are the biggest kind of rock that you will find in a soil. Okay, and you can notice that in soil number 2, there are certain rocks, okay? And these are definitely pebbles. These are the biggest kinds of rocks that you can find in soil. Okay, so soil number 2 definitely has some pebbles in it. And by looking at the other ones, a lot of the other ones don't really have pebbles since there's not a lot of big chunks of rock. Now, the second most large form of rock is gravel, and gravel is about 2 to 6 millimeters long. Okay, so some of them might have had gravel. So let's take a look at soil number 4. Okay, you can tell that there is some gravel in soil number 4, okay, because it's about 2 to 6 millimeters long. All of these little pieces of rock are known as gravel. Now, the next kind of rock that could be in soil is sand, okay? So let's take a look at 3 and 1. Okay, if I shake it a little bit, you can see that it's kind of sandy, right? So if we move it around a little bit, it's kind of sandy. Now, sand is a form of rock. If you didn't know that, now you know. Okay, and sand is about 1 to 2 millimeters long. And then you have clay or silt. That is the 4th kind of rock that you might find in soil. Okay, now, if you don't know what clay or silt is, they are rock particles that are the size of powder and dust, and they are less than 1 millimeter. Okay, so clay and silt is kind of like a dust. So if we look in soil number 1, you could see that it's very dusty. Okay, so this is known as silt. It is so small. Look at my fingertips. You can't even see the rock, but that is known as silt. Okay, so after looking at the 4 different kinds of soil, which one do you think has the most kind of rock? Okay, so we already saw that soil number 2 has some pebbles in it. Okay, these are some pebbles that are in soil number 2. And then all of them pretty much have some gravel and sand. Okay, because if we take a look at soil number 2 as well, you could still tell that there's some sort of sand within soil 2. Okay, now I'm going to introduce another word to you that is in all kinds of soil. And this is very, very important to know when observing different kinds of soil. Okay, you might have heard this word before, but you might have not. And this word is called humus. Okay, you might be asking yourself, what is humus? Humus is dead plant and animal material. Okay, so any dead animal or any dead plant that is now lying on top of the soil actually disintegrates deep into the soil, and that's what makes each kind of soil so different. Because in different parts of our world and environments, there are different animals and plants that grow in certain areas. So it makes sense as to why there are many different kinds of soil as we see here. So these are 4 different types of soil based on 4 different environments. Okay, but it is so important to know that in all soil is made up of different kinds of rock, and all soil contains humus in it, which is decayed plants and animals. Okay, so today we discussed a little bit of the materials found in our 4 different kinds of soil. Okay, now when you look further into your directions for today, we are going to begin our experiment with all the soil.